Hi, I'm Torte de Lini. Deadlock welcomes a roster of 21 heroes, with more coming every patch. These are the main characters of every Deadlock match that possess a variety of abilities that can be improved with ability points. Every hero has 4 abilities that work in tandem with one another for strong combinations, as well as with other players or in counter to enemy players. When it comes to positions, Deadlock heroes do not have dedicated roles like most traditional games. There are no healers or assassins who are meant to be played one specific way, but rather elements to a character that distinguishes it from others. For example, Abrams is considered a frontline hero and is played that way, but players who expect him to solely tank enemy damage and initiate for teamfights will be disappointed in their experience of Deadlock. Players can categorize these heroes in a way that aligns them with certain attributes, like Abrams being a kind of in-your-face style hero, whereas Vindicta plays from the back. But once you get more comfortable understanding the limits and fluidity and power each hero has, especially with the inclusion of strategic item purchases, you'll come to understand every Deadlock match has the potential to win not by which heroes are drafted, but rather how malleable you make your hero to cooperate with your team and counter your enemies. Hero categories can range from health and sustain, gankers, damage dealers, and teamfight disruptors. For those familiar with Deadlock, you can already see the flaw with these arbitrary categories. But more importantly, there are heroes that are rather a blend of two categories, like Warden has some health and sustain capabilities, but he's more prone to be a really strong ganker. Seven is a fantastic damage dealer, but also can teamfight disrupt with his game-ending ultimate and lightning ball ability. Wraith has a fantastic ultimate ability to gank, but she's also a very strong late game damage dealer. Viewing heroes more on a spectrum of capabilities is one of the most important steps to understanding how these heroes function and how you need to adjust your gameplay every match to maximize those capabilities. Because team lineups and lanes are randomized and the map is significantly large, thus a lot of room to collect souls, the game is balanced around the idea that anyone on the team can be the leader in terms of damage output and contributions to a match. While it is true that Deadlock is a shooter-based MOBA, not all heroes require perfect aim and precision, so the game does try to welcome all types of players. Every hero in the game has a different weapon and damage output style. For example, Bebop has a long-range laser-based hit-scan weapon that needs a moment to charge up, whereas Abrams has a short-range shotgun that requires you to stay near an opponent. These weapons both have their pros and cons. While the shotgun is easier to aim with and deals massive damage close up, it means the hero must be played fairly close to an enemy and pressures the player into being aggressive so as to ward off enemy hostilities. Alternatively, playing a hero like Seven grants you a burst fire weapon which deals damage quickly, but it also means you are using up more bullets to last hit soul orbs and thus will be reloading more often. Lastly, all heroes have a physical punch attack called melee. Melee in this game is not something to be forgotten either. There are two types of attack: light and hard melee attack. Both attacks actually deal area damage in front of your hero, but they are distinguished by two different purposes. Light melee is commonly used to guarantee last hits on troopers, and with that, no soul orb will be released from the trooper. The full soul reward will go to the hero. Light melee is also used to quickly finish enemies off or to destroy nearby boxes. Hard melee attack is a great follow-up after you disable an enemy like Abrams' charge or Hayes' dagger during the early game, where your bullets would do less damage within that stun duration. The hard melee attack actually is a charged melee attack where your hero will travel forward for a small period to reach their target. The range is actually pretty misleading as the area reach of your attack travels a decent amount. It's also used as you are reloading your weapon to deal damage to neutrals. Typically, if you are reloading your weapon, your melee attacks will pause that reloading duration. However, with a hard melee attack, the time that you are charging with your attack does not delay your reload time from completing. You can also light or heavy melee while in the air. Now, if you are on the receiving end of a melee attack, don't worry, you do have a parry. While the parry does have a cooldown, anyone caught meleeing you while you are parrying will be stunned for a significant duration. Now would seem like an appropriate time to talk about movement in the game. Deadlock has a lot of nuance to its movement and mechanics. One of the first things you'll notice is different movement speeds. While every hero has different move animations, heroes like Lady Geist and Bebop have an additional movement called sprint speed. This sprint speed activates when you haven't been attacked in the previous few seconds. You'll notice your sprint speed activated by increased white lines trailing from your hero and an obviously faster movement speed. For many heroes, they do not have a sprint speed and thus must buy an item like sprint boots in the shop to gain sprint. Sprint is desirable for a lot of heroes who just have inherently low general movement speed or rely on the sprint speed to position and reposition in fights and ganks. For example, Bob wants his sprint speed so he can position himself quickly to hook an unsuspecting enemy. While traditional movement is your way of getting around a deadlock match, dashing is a fundamental part of movement in the game that allows you to evade attacks or quickly reposition yourself to or from danger. You can dash while in the air, but whether you do it in the air or on the ground, dashing requires an energy bar called stamina, which is located as bars right near your reticle. Stamina is a regenerating resource which can be spent on movement abilities such as double jumping, dashing, and dash jumping. Now, dash jumping is the more advanced technique where if you time your jumps towards the end of a dash, you can spring your hero forward in your intended direction with some serious distance. In order to dash jump, you need to dash, look for the blue change in color of your stamina bar, and then jump when you see that in order to create a dash jump. Lastly, sliding is one of the cornerstones of movement in the game. Not only does sliding allow you to maintain momentum after a dash jump, or especially when moving down a hill, it also provides you with unlimited ammo for a brief moment, giving you more damage output against enemies in the lane and during team fights. Combining these moves and some other more advanced techniques, a player can actually make some serious distance. For example, by dash jumping into a slide, you could then double jump forward into an air dash, and that's only scratching the surface on what you can do. As mentioned previously, ability points can be earned through completing objectives. When you first jump into a match, you will have to first unlock your abilities, to which you can then level them up with more ability points. Unlocking abilities does not cost any ability points, but are gradually provided as you collect more souls to eventually unlock all 4 abilities. Leveling up a hero's abilities is not like traditional games, where a character leveling up equates to their abilities being slightly stronger in power. For starters, each level up of abilities significantly changes how the abilities function, ranging from lower cooldowns to multiple effects when activated. Secondly, the cost to level up a hero's ability increases with each iteration. While level 1 and 2 of a hero's abilities only cost 1 to 2 ability points, level 3 costs a whopping 5 ability points. On top of improving your abilities, heroes also have power increases, which are akin to levels in traditional games. Some heroes receive additional power increases in their stats, so check them all out in the Heroes tab in the Deadlock client. Alright, that's chapter 4 done in our tutorial series about the game. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to please like and subscribe to help me out.